Hey guys, so story time. So you would probably think my most embarrassing moment was something really bad, but it's kind of not. You see, I'm one of those people who gets embarrassed really easily. Anyway, at the time this happened, it was the worst thing that had ever happened to me in my entire life, and I wanted to die. Then later in the same day, looking back on it, all I could do was laugh. So here's what happened. When I was in high school getting ready to decide on the college I wanted to attend, I visited a few of the top contenders. One of them was a place called Huntington College, which is a liberal arts college in Montgomery, Alabama. Notable alumni from Huntington are Jeff Sessions, and Catherine Tucker Windham. Yay! Now I realize that most of you have probably never even heard of Catherine Tucker Windham, but since I live in Alabama, she's kind of a big deal here. She's this lady who wrote books about haunted places in the South, one of which is Huntington College. So yes, there's supposedly a ghost there, the Red Lady of Pratt Hall, who was a former student who committed suicide, I believe is the story. But yes, and she haunts the dormitory. But now I'm getting away from my story. So my mom and I went down to Montgomery one weekend because I was invited to interview for a scholarship at Huntington College and to tour the campus. We got there a little bit early, checked in, and found some seats in the chapel to sit and wait for the opening presentation to start. We'd been in a hurry to get there, so we hadn't had a bathroom break in a while. So since we had a little time before everything started, I went to the bathroom. Now, it wasn't a bathroom with stalls, it was just a single bathroom. I was wearing a skirt and pantyhose because I wanted to look presentable. I was being interviewed. I had just finished using the bathroom when I heard someone outside. I froze. From my position, I could see the door handle and the lock, and that's when I realized I hadn't locked the door. The handle continued moving, and the door started to open. I was sitting on the toilet, skirt hiked up, pantyhose and underwear dropped down to my ankles. I had to make a split-second decision. I launched myself across the room toward the slightly open door and slammed it shut on the girl outside. I swiftly locked the door as I heard her muttering apologies. I was on my knees on the bathroom floor, pantyhose still around my ankles, completely mortified. Did she see me? Did she see my white ass as I launched myself toward the door? Could she recognize me in a lineup? I dazedly made my way back to the toilet and sat for a few minutes, wanting to cry and hoping the ground would open up and swallow me so that I would never have to think about that moment again. But the ground didn't oblige me. So I pulled up my underwear, smoothed down my skirt, washed my hands, unlocked the door, and walked out. The girl was nowhere to be seen, so I felt a little better. She was probably just as embarrassed as I was, I thought to myself. As calmly as I could, I walked back to my seat beside my mom and just faced straight ahead. My mom, without turning her head to me, whispered, "Someone walked in on you in the bathroom, didn't they?" I just nodded, while I wondered when my mother had become a psychic. She whispered again, "I thought so. She's sitting right behind us." As you've probably figured out, my mother's not actually a psychic. While I was sitting in the bathroom, wishing for the ground to eat me, the girl had gone back to her seat next to her own mother and said, "I just opened the door on some girl in the bathroom." My mom overheard it and immediately knew it was me. Of course it was. I had to sit there for the whole opening presentation wondering if she recognized me. Then they sent us off into groups for our interviews. Of course, guess who was in my group? I never actually talked to her, so I'll never know if she knew it was me on the other side of that door. But surely she did. And now, anytime I use a public restroom, I double-check the locks. Lesson learned, I guess. So that was it. Sure, it could have been much, much worse, but for 17-year-old me, that was unimaginably terrible. I can look back on it now and laugh, but I live in constant dread of the day that it will be topped as my most embarrassing moment. See you guys next time.